So the 8th anniversary with only a few days away, we will be seeing these banners in the game. Now, these banners, I mean, you can tell by the title, you have to stay for these banners, especially if you're on global. Yeah, you probably have to summon on this if you're in GP. The value on these banners, just by looking at the pure images alone, is just pretty insane. Now, I know there's a lot of questions on when could these banners drop. I would say there's two potential options for the banners to drop. They could very well drop, the 29th, 28th, depending on your time zone, when the actual anniversary starts after the live stream. I think that's an option because a lot of like the teasers and stuff like that are dropping kind of, I feel like a little early, like a day early. They're doing a data download today on the 26th, actually. I'll do a video on that data download today. And I would assume data download to 28th, maybe. Hopefully after the live stream for the new units. We'll have to wait and see. The banners might be dropping, usually the banners drop like the day after, like in the 30th, 29th, right? Again, depending on your time zone. But it seems they could be dropping earlier, right? So we don't know for sure. I hope the units are in today's data download. They should not be. I would not expect that. But potentially we see some, information about the... apparently we're getting information about the standby skills, stuff like that. So obviously the main allure for these two banners is the two brand new LRs. I would assume they would at least be at bare minimum top 10. That's bare minimum. That's probably being like just underrating how good they're going to be. I would assume they're going to be the best in the game, but I mean, we saw what happened with Ultimate Gohan, Beast Gohan, so I'm just going to be a little flexible with that and say at least top 10 in the game, at least. And a lot of people do think that LR Ultimate Gohan is even top 5, so I mean, I wouldn't agree, but to each their own. These units are going to be definitely worth summoning for. There's no way that they're going to make them bad. They're going to make it pretty insane. Now, when it comes to the other units in the banner, that's when things continue to get pretty wild because we have a lot of returning units. I mean, I'm going to focus on this banner first because I personally would assume, well, I mean, my personal taste in units, I do like the look of this banner better. Now, we have the return of STR Cooler. This guy returning is obviously very good. He's just crazy. He's still like a top 10 unit in the game by far. At bare minimum, again, you could really move around these units, but I'd say he's like one of the best units in the game. I think it's a better way to say it. He's very offensively based, so if you do like an offensive playstyle, he works very well. I feel like his team, while it hasn't really had any buffs the past few months, has really, really good designed units. So it's like, well, I mean, specifically the units you run with him are Wicked Bloodline units. Like, if you take a look here, again, Metal Cooler, Physical Elemental Cooler, I still feel like he's good. It's just, more units came out. LR Golden Frieza is still easily one of the best units in the game. I mean, with the Physical Metal Cooler, right? A lot of these units on this team were designed, like the new ones that came out, even AGL Metal Cooler, this Esther EZA Cooler, Cooliza even. Like, he's a year old and he's still actually pretty good. These units were clearly designed to age well and be really good fitting on that team. Even the LR Medical Army, not on global yet, but this actually he should be on the next global battlefield is what we're assuming, but he's still actually a pretty good option overall. The free-to-play metacoolers like this AJO one is good. Just all in all, this cooler has a lot of good options with them. Even the movie bosses side, right? We have I'm trying to think of the top of my head, LR Janeba, a very well aging unit. Tech Janeba, a lot of people have been using recently. Even this Turles could potentially see some play if you get some more super class difficult stages. But that's really in terms of like running this cooler move bosses team. So very, very strong, just powerful unit. And a lot of people have been waiting for him to return. I feel like this is easily one of the more alluring units on the banner. We also have Gamma 1 returning. Now, I do agree this is kind of dumb on their end, because he should have returned on the superhero banner with LR Ultimate Gohan, and then Gamma 2 should have returned with Orange Piccolo. I'm not sure why they did this. It's like, okay, well, now we're getting... I mean, it does make these banners much better, obviously, but it's like, well, now we're getting two units that haven't been returned back on this banner. So it's like, okay, when is Global going to get these two? They're going to have to wait for anniversary. And if that's the case, then that does make these banners even more valuable to save for as a global player as well. But I don't know. It is what it is. Just getting that out of the way. This Gamma one is incredible. I do think his like led movie heroes team is still the best team in the game right now, right? I mean, you have Gamma One. You could put Carnival Goku on there, even Orange Piccolo with the S-Char Piccolo, Path Pirate Good Goku with his Android 8. You could do some really insane combinations, and then this guy as a floating unit with damage reduction and supporting. I just feel he's a really strong leader, especially because his guard lasts for the 4 turns. That means you could float him off for 2 turns guaranteed no matter what. He will have his guard ability, and even if you float him off as a leader, that means that he's able to still do pretty well, even if you're like turn 7 and you got him on the 3rd slot in the rotation or something, right? Or the 3rd slot of, or I guess I should say the 7th slot is a better way, right? I really like this Gamma one. He's definitely worth it. And then we have the LR Gods. I mean, I feel like they're one of the best aging design units in the game. More so obviously when they're transformed, right? But this unit is incredible. They're still probably, could you say top 10? You could probably say they're like a top 10 unit worthy in the game. They're one of the best units in the game by far. I am a bigger fan of these guys than a lot of other people, and I really like them a lot. I think they're just incredible, right? Really, very good. Now, we also have the Gotenks and Piccolo. I'm assuming this is just one card. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, these Mandarins are 2 different cards, but we'll see how these guys work out. I would assume they could maybe be good. I mean, seeing it's Super Saiyan 3 right here, maybe these guys do share a couple of links, like maybe they could be over in a Flash, even Limit Breaking Form potentially. We'll have to see how these link sets do work out. Unfortunately, can't really say too much about this. I'll definitely do an updated video once we have full information on the banners. Now, if we're taking a look here at the Super Saiyan 4 banner specifically, right, again, I'm assuming these guys are going to be like either the best unit in the game or like the 2nd best unit in the game. But no matter what, they're going to be busted, so they're going to be good to summon on, I feel. Now, this unit is returning. It really could be a really big deal if this unit does share a lot of links. Regardless, this is one of the best units also in the game. Like many of these other units, they're on par, I feel, with the gods in terms of their performance in game, given they have a really good GT unit with Saiyan Roar, GT, Shocking Speed, right? So hopefully that's the case for this brand new LR. But if you want to see my speculation on their link sets for both of these units, I did do a video yesterday. But I mean, they can still be pretty helpful in a lot of situations, right? Once you transform with them, they have this damage reduction, which is really helpful against normal attacks. You know, they have the counter ability. This could be extremely powerful in many different stages. Obviously, both the active skills for this guy and the gods are very, very good. Probably one of the better active skills in the game, just straight up, because of the attacks I can have there. They're very sufficient with ki. You would really want to get GT or Shocking Speed, but if you have one or both of these links up, it's very, very good for them key-wise. They have the nullification, right? This unit's good. I think, you know, whilst I like, you know, talk about this unit in a more unfavorable opinion, especially comparing to the gods, I still really like this unit. I think a lot of people think that I think they suck, and that's not the case at all. I guess to clear that up, but that's a whole other thing. These units I feel like are a little underrated. This is another unit returning for the actual GT specific side of the banner. They have a really strong leader skill, just a very generic, basic, good link set. I feel like you could just throw them on a lot of teams and they could really work out for you. They have the debuffing here, which I feel like is pretty cool. The issue with them is this morale boost condition. It sucks. This is terrible. I don't know what they were thinking with that. This really does hurt the unit from being much, much better. And a lot of people think they're one of the... Okay, they're not bad, but they're one of the, like, comparative to other units that released at their time, they're, like, the lowest ranking in terms of, like, how good they are, which is a little unfortunate. If you're able to get the morale boost up with them, they could actually be pretty nice in a lot of difficult content, though. Not type disadvantage, but, I mean, that's not that big of a deal. I would have hoped maybe they would have had a higher damage reduction, but that's the only thing I would change besides the morale condition. They could still be really powerful. I feel like they're more damage based, though. You could definitely tell because, you know, they have the critical hit chances right there. they get the guaranteed crits and then a double super attacks potentially when you're at like 24 key, doing the ultra super, right, stuff like that. So there's additionals. I think that this unit can be helpful. So at least they're new, they're good, and I think a lot of people may not even have them in the first place, right? Gamma 2, same thing with the Gamma 1. A lot of people may not even have this unit in the first place. I assume a lot of people may have even skipped the Gammas because they expected them to be on the superhero banners. A lot of us did. And unfortunately, that did not end up being the case. Gamma 2 is really strong. I think he's on par with Gamma 1. He's also a good leader. I feel like people, like, you know, look at this Gamma 2 and think of him as, you know, oh, he's just more so like, you know, a really strong offensive unit. But he's also doing a lot of these things that, I don't know, could you say intangible many other units don't really do? He has the, where is it? The 50% chance to nullify Ki Blast Supers, that's really important. He does still support 2 key and 30% attack, that's really good. So he has these extra things on top of it. I think this guy, you know, at his peak is top 5 even? And it's like best turn. Specifically, like if he gets 5 super attacks, he has nullification, the support, right? This dude's doing a lot, and I'm a big fan of him, actually, really for sure. I think he could still be a really good leader for the Mover Heroes team. I just prefer Gamma 1 as my type of unit, right? But that's pretty much it. We also have the 2 banners from last year I did bring up, so we can kind of see, you know, okay, who else could potentially be featured on these banners, right? And if you see it matches up, because we have Cooler, like, let's say this is the LR Super Saiyan 3-2 Goku, and this is the new banner unit. We have Kulu here. We know the 7th anniversary unit is, you know, returning right here, so we just kind of shift a year up. Boo Tanks, this could still be Boo Tanks. Maybe instead of the 5th year or the 3-year LRs, we have, let's say, Boo Tanks and Vegito on this banner. Then the Super Saiyan 4 banner would have just these guys returning again, right? That could also be a lot of sense, right? Again, we have on this banner specifically the LR Super Saiyans returning. We have the LR Super Saiyan 4 is returning here. So kind of like just shifting around. Very similar banners to last year, but obviously still really good banners. I mean, at this time, this was by far the best banner that came out in the game ever. I think a lot of people do agree, because so many of these units were still very useful. I mean, this guy at the time was still okay, right? You know, so that's pretty interesting. But Luca did bring this up for me. I decided to just bring this up just to, well, they didn't bring it up to me specifically, but he stated this, and I feel like it's a good idea, right? We see the new unit, Cooler Worldwide units, 7th anniversary units, Blue Saga, then the 6th, 5th, and 3rd anniversary. I feel, again, maybe instead of the 3rd anniversary, we see the 4th anniversary still one of the banners, and then maybe in the 5th anniversary still. What if like both? What if like the 5th anniversary units and then the Boo Saga Worldwide Celebration units, all 4 of them UZA? That would be crazy. I wouldn't like expect something like that to happen, but I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that either. But that's what we know about these banners. We can speculate on, you know, how good these 2 are gonna be, what else is gonna be there. But I wanted to keep it more so, okay, the units we know that are coming and kind of talking about how good they are specifically. 100% worth your stones. I think you want to save for these banners. On global, you guys have like what, Saiyan Day coming up, Golden Week. I mean, those banners could be very helpful and tasty to summon on, but is it really worth it if these banners are still going to be really good, especially this one? I think it's going to age really well. This one could be less likely to age as well, because I feel like, how do I explain it? I just feel like these units have more, like the units around here, these 3 specifically, just have more solid kits overall than these 3 specifically. I mean, Super Saiyan 4s are still going to do really well if this guy's good, but specifically these 2 compared to these 2, especially just this, maybe really just Cooler with Super Saiyans. Cooler just way better. Gamma 1 is more my unit that I would recommend for people to summon on, but I know a lot of people are favorable for Gamma 2 even, so I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Let me know which banner you guys would prefer to summon on just by looking at this here. I feel like a lot of people will say this banner, but who knows? Don't underrate how good this unit could be. I think this unit could be really strong. I feel a lot of people are just, you know, they look at base GT Goku and they're like, oh, and they're not excited about it. But I definitely know when the animations for both these units come out, there's going to be way more fans here. It's actually pretty insane how split the hype is. Even more than like probably any anniversary since Gogeta and Janemma, right? Obviously, everyone's summoning Gogeta. Okay, I'm just rambling. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.